It's great.
All right, let's get rolling. All right, going live in 3, 2, 1. Someone check our audio too. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Multiverse Show, Season 4, Episode 13, our season finale. Almost, we might get canceled, who knows? With all these technical bugs, we might just be canceled. But hey, or we could just launch our game like CD Projekt Red. Who knows? Alright, so we got our pretty slam-packed show for you guys tonight. We're going to just go right through everything because we got 2 weeks of content to cover through. So first up on the docket, we have to do our introductions. First off, we have the Chief of Achievements, Mr. Undead 3XVI, Nicholas Downey from the Lords of Gaming.
Hey, glad to be here. I wanted to say it was Friday. I don't know why I'm trying to wish it to be Friday already. No idea, but it's Monday. So yeah, let's talk about things.
All right, we also have the Caesar of Cinema, the Baron of Britain, Mr. James Wilson.
I also was convinced it was Friday like a couple hours ago, but there you go. It's crazy time. Hi, everyone. We've got a lot to go through. Let's do it.
I literally had to convince myself to say, wait, no, it's not Wilson. It's not, or I was going to say James P. Sullivan. I was like, wait,
I'm not that scary, am I?
All right, and we also have the White Wolf, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey everybody, take two. Let's go.
All right, and your host for the evening, Mr. Anchorman V2. So first up on the docket, because we have so many things to cover, we ask the question every single week. What have you guys been playing? James, I know because you didn't get a chance to play Cyberpunk, and I assume everybody else has been playing Cyberpunk. What have you been up to, sir?
I haven't been up to much. I've mostly just been continuing to play F1 2020, which is the thing that I've done most of this year. I am now in my 4th season as a constructor, and I've just won the Constructors' Championship, so well done me. And that is all that I've done with video games. Carry on.
All right. Nick, have you played Cyberpunk or something else?
I am 30 hours into Cyberpunk now, I think. I've been having a blast. I'm having a grand old time. So,
awesome. All right, so I want to kind of get your impressions on it. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of stuff around the game. I don't really care about that right now. That's a topic for later discussion. I want to get your impressions on the game itself and your experience. So kick us off.
So Cyberpunk's this really weird thing where for everything I find I love with the game, I find something where I really, really don't like about the game. It's one of those things where it does some things so incredibly well. I'm like, wow, this is great. And then there's other things that are just so cripplingly not bad, but just make you sit there and go, why? Why is this the way it is? Without going into too much detail, the combat's fine. It's not like groundbreaking. It's not Doom or anything like that, but it's serviceable FPS combat. The melee combat kind of sucks, and it really sucks because I was kind of looking forward to being a cool cyber ninja, but having to use the same 3 slashing techniques while using a katana kind of takes the fun out of it. But I haven't really seen a first-person RPG where the melee combat was phenomenal either, so I don't know if I can really judge it on that. Characters are great. I love all the characters. I had a little bit of complaints at the beginning with Keanu Reeves' character, but it's progressing quite well. And once again, I won't get into spoilery stuff there. Overall, I'm having a really great time because I really love the aesthetic and the setting of this game, because it's a setting that hasn't been used in a lot of games lately. The last time this aesthetic was used in incredibly well was, I would say, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and it's been a hot minute. So I really love the aesthetic. I love the characters. The actual relationship and romance trees are probably some of the most well done in a game. It doesn't feel like do a quest or the lady. It feels like there's a lot more depth and character development that goes along with it, a lot more care taken with it. The writing's exceptional. It's a little bit on the janky side. I myself haven't had any of the game-breaking bugs, glitches, or anything else. The worst thing I had was Jackie Wells, unfortunately, had a very rogue briefcase at one point that was flying around a room in a hotel at one point.
That's not that weird. That happened in Hitman, and that was amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So flying briefcases are a-okay with me, but I know my experience is much different than many other people's, so I'll not detract from that, etc., etc. But I am enjoying myself very much so far.
All right, Sam, as our resident CD. No, screw you. You made me believe in CD Projekt Red. And now here we are. I'm gonna save you for last.
I think you'll find
as our resident
Keanu makes
expert.
you believe in CD Projekt Red.
But yeah, you're our resident expert. I want to save you for last, so you can tell us all we're go to hell or something. So for me, with my experience in particular with this game, I've been very vocal with. I have been so tired of how often they've delayed this game. I will say, yeah, the game probably needed to be delayed again, or at least just be canceled for last gen systems. And actually, someone brought up something interesting to me. Is actually there's an article back in like 2013 where they were like people were grilled about whether or not Cyberpunk was going to come to Xbox One and PS4, and they actually wouldn't commit to it. They wouldn't say yes or no at the time. It's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe we'll look at the technology, see what we can do, which is interesting to see now. At the end of that life cycle, but it's for me, I'm kind of. My thing is, it's very similar to Nick in terms like for every good thing, there's a bad thing. But for me, I guess I'm a little more forgiving. To me, it's not really a major bug or a problem unless it completely takes me out of the experience. I personally have not had any problems where it's like over the top, like, oh yeah, like Jackie Wells is flying across the room or anything. Didn't have any problems like that. My thing is I saw Jackie Wells walk through a door that was closed, and then like it opened like a second later. I have had the game crash my entire Series X. It's completely reboot it. I don't know what caused that specifically, but it did happen. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. That was an interesting experience, but like. I guess if like I try to like nitpick and stuff, like yeah, if you're driving down the road, you will see some popping in the distance, but I'm normally not trying to do that. I'm trying to focus on like keeping my car from flipping over because the physics are weird for cars. Because as soon as you get any kind of air, you're like a cardboard box in the wind.
It's probably the first game that has worse driving mechanics than a Ubisoft game, honestly.
Well, I don't even think it's the mechanics. It's just the physics of it. It feels like all the tires are like on a magnet, and so like it sticks to the road. But as soon as you pry that off, it's gone. Like everything else is okay, I guess, but it's just wonky for that part of the physics. But everything else I've enjoyed. Like I've really had a good time playing it. I'm in Act 2, but I've basically just been doing side missions for a long time. Just because it's something I enjoy doing, so I've been just doing that for a while. Other than that, what else is there? I can't really parrot anything else. For me, the thing I've been impressed about, at least the most, has been that with this game, I was very impressed with Jackie, at least in terms of how they characterized him, and the writing's really excellent. But I will say I like the restraint that they have with dealing with certain things. Like, they don't beat you over the head with themes and story aspects of it. They kind of let it like ruminate in your mind just a little bit. It's that factor of like good sci-fi, like and I know I'm ranting a little bit, but the difference between like sci-fi and science fiction, or not science fiction and science fantasy, is that science fiction makes the immaculate mundane. It makes like what's new a completely normal thing. Like the example I always hear for that is like when people talk about the replicator in the Star Trek, like people treat that as a completely normal thing of like, oh yeah, I could just make any food you want, no questions asked, like no restraints. And like they do the same thing in Cyberpunk. I'm really trying not to give away what I'm talking about specifically, but they don't treat the aspects of this this world as just a dumb, like, oh wow, this is a completely unique scenario. Like there are some elements of that because it's a story, but it's not what they do for the most part. And I really enjoy that. So that's kind of my shtick. But Sam, as our CD Projekt Red specialist and local shill, what do you believe?
Yeah, so the thing is, The Witcher 3 was my favorite game of all time. And I know we're running late here, so I'll just very quickly say I'm having an incredibly mixed feeling overall this game, even without the bugs. And that's the thing, there are a lot of bugs. I want to be clear about that. Like, that is not overblown in my opinion. I have seen some true nonsense. I've had to restart Quest because Jackie just wouldn't follow me, but the cops have swarmed the building. So if I tried to go talk to Jackie, even though he's not coming out, the cops just shove me away and I can't continue on. So I lost progress that way. I've had characters disappear in midair. I don't mean NPCs. I mean like plot critical characters. And that's just, and I'm on Series X. I haven't had any crashes, but yeah, so that's a thing. They can eventually fix the bugs. But the main issue I'm finding is that the writing is really inconsistent for me. This isn't like The Witcher 3, where every single thing felt immersive, every single thing pulled me in. For every incredible quest or incredible character, I'm finding 2 or 3 that are just written very dully, that aren't interesting. Johnny Silverhand is a highlight. Keanu Reeves does an amazing performance with him. It's subdued. It's not over the top. He fits it perfectly. The way they introduce him to V and these two get tangled up with each other, magnificent. I love it. That is like one of the highlights of the game for me so far. But so much else, and I like Jackie too. I want to be clear. I like Jackie. I like T-Bug. But there's so many others that it's just like you feel more like a caricature. You don't actually feel like you're there for me. And that feels surprising, coming off The Witcher 3. And also quest complexity. There's an amazing quest early on where there's so many different outcomes, and you can screw over the corporation or work with them to take a gang down or just go guns blazing through the gang or negotiate with them. It's like, it's amazing. Absolutely incredible, seeing all these different options. It's also the only one in the game I've found that's anywhere near that complex so far. So, I don't know. I haven't finished it yet. It's objectively a good game, but it's definitely not the leap I was hoping it would be, given this is coming from CD Projekt Red. And again, lots of bugs and stuff like that and other issues that, like people who are more qualified than me have dove in on Twitter, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but in the technical side or whatever. But that needs to be fixed. And that kind of leads us into one of our topics, but I know if anyone else has anything to say, this is the time, of course.
I don't have something to say, but I just want to ask you a quick question, because Cyberpunk is famously based on the tabletop role-playing game, and The Witcher is based on a series of novels with established characters and events and history and lore. And yes, there's loads of that to delve into for Cyberpunk. Do you think that your reaction to it, and I assume other people have had the same thing of going, this doesn't feel like the way that The Witcher was written, do you think that's influenced by the fact that a tabletop role-playing game is only really as good as the people you have around you and the game master? And when the game master is a computer who can't improvise on the fly and add something to make it more fun for the players, do you think that's having a negative effect on people?
I think you're onto something, James. I was actually talking with another friend about this very thing, about how, hey, I don't think it's a coincidence that the best written characters here are directly pulled from the tabletop, where they have background lore that can be adapted and personalities that can be adapted. I think CD Projekt Red is incredible at adapting characters to, a more modern medium and understanding them, but coming up from scratch, it just isn't working as well. But again, the Witcher games had characters, many characters, bucket loads of them.
I think the main difference with that, I know I'm cutting you off, but I think the part about that's we're not really thinking about either, is that with that scenario in particular, you're talking about the first game in a franchise as opposed to the third. I will say, as someone who did not play Witcher 2 or Witcher 1, meeting some of the other characters, you don't know who a lot of those people are. And so some of them it's hard to get invested in. You get an idea pretty well of who certain types are, but it's harder to get more invested in them if you've never seen them before. I think that's part of it too, at least in terms of the writing aspect. You have to introduce a world.
I think that's fair, but I would also contend with you, Ivan, even though we don't have time to get too far into this, that people who just play Witcher 3 without background, yeah, they're not getting as much out of it as those who've read the books or played the other games or whatever, but they still grab onto it pretty darn quickly, which I'm not generally seeing here. I have some further thoughts on that, though, so I'm not going to take up too much more time here. The point is it's mixed results, which I didn't expect.
Anything else before we move on to the next topic here?
I still really want to play it. Despite all of the stuff, I still really want to play it.
Yeah, and I will say it will be a great game once they fix a lot of the bugs. Once they fix those, there will be no doubt this is a great game. But anyway, other than that, we want to cover something else. So James, you're our resident film critic of sorts. There has been a couple things going on, at least in the movie sphere. Please indulge us with more knowledge.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so we've got to go back 2 and a bit weeks to Warner Brothers and HBO just announcing incredibly out of the blue that their entire 2021 slate will be going to HBO Max. So that is Dune, that is Wonder Woman, that is the foreseeable future for the next King Kong. That's the next installment in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, which I'm not in. Screw those guys. Now, this could be an overreaction to the coronavirus. It could be an incredible gift of foresight. What it has done is completely, seemingly turned everyone against Warner Brothers in a way that I don't think they predicted. And not only that, it completely turned the people who work with them and work for them against them. I don't know if anybody read the scathing multiple articles that Christopher Nolan partook in, just slamming Warner Brothers, saying this is like that he's become a vic. The exact phrase was, I went to bed thinking I was working with one of the greatest film companies in the world, and I woke up working for the worst streaming service.
Huh. Yeah.
Imagine that. I can't believe that he said that. That just proves how untouchable Christopher Nolan is, frankly, more than anything else. If Patty Jenkins came out and said that, she would never be heard from again, frankly. So, as much as I would like to delve into all the HBO Max stuff and the ramifications that could have, we don't have the time. And honestly, there isn't that much news about it because it could change. They have said publicly that it's a temporary measure just for 2021. I'm telling you right now, if they make loads of money from it, it's not a temporary measure at all. It is a permanent thing.
Yep, cosign.
Time will tell. But then it is their company. They want to make money. They're never pretended to be anything other than that. We shouldn't be angry at them for trying to make money because we buy into it. Hello, capitalism. We love it. So, despite that, Disney, not to be outdone by anyone else, because, when they have more money than God, why would you be outdone by anyone else? They had their investor day a couple days ago and just decided to just announce everything. And just give news about everything, and in such a way that they just started saying things so quickly that we couldn't really take stock of actually all the things that they said. While I was compiling the list for all of the things, there was stuff that I don't remember them announcing because it was just constant, just new stuff. So I've got the list in front of me. I've split it up into like different sections. I'm going to go section by section, and I want you guys to shout out if you want me to delve into it like in deep dives.
Okay.
In massive air quotes. So the big headline stuff is more news on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Mm-hmm. Production of that is starting in March of next year. We already knew that Ewan McGregor was going to be in it. The big news is that Hayden Christensen will be in the show as Vader.
Yes.
Which is crazy because apparently the prequels were good now, actually. And I've been on record before saying I think Christensen gets a really bad rep. Like in general, I think he's a very good actor. If you want proof, watch Shattered Glass. It's an outstanding film, and he's great in it. And even his facial expressions and some of his acting in the Star Wars prequels is very good. He was just working with a hopeless director. And so hopefully the person who's running the Obi-Wan series, and I don't have their name in front of me right now, will do a better job. Right, more Star Wars stuff. New show from Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, set in the Mandalorian era, Rangers of the New Republic. No other news, no other information about it, just then that is what it is. It's becoming incredibly obvious that the Mandalorian is just a way to get them backdoor pilots for stuff, because the Ahsoka Tano solo series has also been announced. Showrunners Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. This seems they're the Star Wars guys now. It was D&D, now it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. More news on the Cassian Andor series. Production has begun. Production started in London 2 weeks ago. Tony Gilroy is the showrunner for that. You will know him as the writer of all of the Bourne films. I say adapted writer, obviously. I did look up other things that he did. He directed Michael Clayton, the what's his face, the Ocean's 11 dude. George Clooney, that's the one.
You realize Ocean's 11 has like 11 people in it, right?
I know, but like the title character.
Okay, sure.
If there's going to be one you remember, more big Star Wars stuff. They announced Star Wars The Bad Batch, which is going to be an animated series. Then they announced Star Wars Visions, which is going to be an anime anthology. Sure, why not? Lando. I was going to say Lando Norris. No, he's the driver from McLaren. Wanting Lando Calrissian, however, is getting his own series. Showrunner Justin Simeon. I looked him up. Didn't see a lot of stuff. Good for him. The Acolyte, a mystery thriller set in the final days of the High Republic. That sounds interesting to me. I love stuff that isn't Star Wars stuff set in Star Wars. I've said this before. I want a Star Wars show with no Jedi. And no mention of the Force. I want weird politics. That's why Game of Thrones was great. It had dragons, but the best part was just people talking in rooms. And this is the exact same thing.
I would like if it was set like right after the fall of the Empire, and like they literally are building the Republic again. Like they say, okay, like where are we gonna put our capital? Like have that sort of thing again. That would be interesting to me, at least in terms of.
I want House of Cards in Star Wars.
Same.
But with way less problematic stars.
I was gonna say that. I was like, but like, why not Kevin Spacey in Star Wars?
Kevin, not so spacey.
Christopher Plummer in Star Wars. Okay, and the other big Star Wars stuff is that Taika Waititi has been confirmed to be doing a film. The rumor was that he was doing a series. No, it is a film. It's a full-on film. No other information other than it is being written and directed by Taika Waititi, writer and director of Thor Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit and What We Do in the Shadows. I'll happily watch him. Now, the other big film they announced was Rogue Squadron. I am very excited for this, and I'll tell you for why. Patty Jenkins is directing this, and the video announcement that they had is one of my favorite teaser trailers in cinema history. I don't like trailers a lot. I think trailers give away way more than they should. I like trailers that are like 30 seconds long, tell you nothing and get you interested. Rogue Squadron. Patty Jenkins grew up on an army base, and I only know this because I watched the trailer. And she saw her dad flying F-15s and F-16s and wanted to make the greatest fighter pilot movie in history. And she gets to combine that with trying to make a great Star Wars movie. And the passion and energy that she showed in a 40-second clip while she took off some roller skates, put on X-Wing gear, and got into an X-Wing, it got me more jazzed for a Star Wars product than anything has in the last 2 years. I'm incredibly excited for that. Other big announcements, the Willow series, with Warwick Davis returning in the title role, shooting in Wales. I'm very happy for that. Willow is a great guilty pleasure of mine. I love it. The Indiana Jones movie we already knew that was coming. James Mangold has been confirmed to be directing it. He's the director of Logan. and Ford versus Ferrari or Le Mans 66, depending on where you are in the world. It's in pre-production, supposedly going to be starting in late spring, and apparently going to be coming out in theaters. Very key word, they said in theaters, July 2022. Okay, so who wants to hear a bunch of stuff from Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures Association? You know what? I'll just go through the names, and then you just say if you want more information. Hocus Pocus 2.
Nope.
It's coming. 3 Men and a Baby. 3 Men and a Baby reboot with Zac Efron.
Who else?
See, I don't know. 2 other guys and a baby. Most of these sound like jokes that you would make in like.
Is Zac
pitch
Efron the new
meetings.
Kurt Russell?
I'm so. I mean,
beard.
I do like. I mean, he's got a good beard, actually.
Oh, god damn it! That's the one thing I had on Zac Efron.
Zac Efron has a pretty good beard. Did you not see his little Netflix series where he's got a beard?
Oh, I did.
It's pretty good.
Huh.
They're doing another version of Cheaper by the Dozen.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
I know, right? Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg.
You know what?
Oh,
Produced by.
I'm in.
Here we go. And here's another thing that made me excited. Produced by Tyler Perry. I know, right? That's interesting. Now, this makes me terrified by the description, but the people involved save it. Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, hybrid live action, wait, starring John Mulaney and Andy Samberg.
All right, I'm in.
It started awful and it got saved right at the end.
I like John Mulaney so much.
You know what? I am just going to go through the list because this is taking less time than I thought. The Pinocchio movie is directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks, coming to Disney Plus.
Wait, Tom Hanks is what?
I imagine Geppetto.
I would hope so. This would be very strange.
I mean, he has voiced a toy before.
I know he's
Famously.
voiced a toy, an adult toy. Not that kind of adult toy, but okay.
That's a different kind of Woody. The next film is Peter Pan and Wendy, starring Jude Law as Captain Hook. Sure.
I can see that.
Why not? This is also not the only film. This is not the only Peter Pan movie that we will be talking about. We'll come back to this. Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted. Amy Adams confirmed to return. That's great news. Enchanted's fantastic, and I love more of that. I just hope this time, if they cast Idina Menzel, please let her sing.
Never.
Do you guys know this? They cast Idina Menzel in a goddamn musical in like 2007 when she was at her height of her powers on Broadway, and they didn't let her sing. Crazy. Crazy time. Biographical films. They're making a film called Greek Freak about NBA star. I'm gonna try and pronounce this name. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Sure, why not?
How did you know?
Because he destroyed my division for like 3 years. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And projects on NFL players. Keanu Lowe with Dwayne Johnson among the producers because he's not busy. Right. We are getting animated movies from the 20th Century Studios titles. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, why not? The Ice Age Adventures, sure. And an animated version of Night in the Museum. Moving on. This is a company that have more. They showed a little scissor reel for Jungle Cruise with Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. Looks fine. Cruella, starring Emma Stone. Still excited for it because it looks weird and I like weird things. Now, a prequel to The Lion King.
Wait, is this like a new original story, or is this lifted from a book that happened at some point, or?
I don't know,
Is it gonna
and
be
I
Merchants of
really
Venice?
don't care. Yeah, they just keep making them. They keep making them until they get to Macbeth, where they just do it word for word. They do Macbeth but with lions. I would love it. We already knew about the live-action Little Mermaid. I'm not sure if everyone knew that Rob Marshall is being confirmed to direct it. Ron Marshall is the director of Into the Woods and also Chicago and 9. You know, if you're going to get someone who's going to do a live action musical, get Ron Marshall. He's pretty good. Okay, that is the big live action stuff. Let's move to animation. Should be some good stuff. There's not a lot of stuff here. Encanto, a feature set in Colombia with songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda, scheduled to release theatrically in November 2021. They did make a point of saying a lot of stuff coming theatrical. There's not a lot of stuff going direct to Disney Plus. However, they alluded to the Fox division. That stuff seems to be going to Disney Plus, and the mainline Disney's going straight to theaters first. Which I'm not against the idea. I am against the idea, but I'm not as against it as just everything going to Disney.
I hope they don't do the premiere thing too much because, you know.
Speaking of which, Raya and the Last Dragon, day and date, premiere access and theaters in March of this year. A couple more stuff from the animation branch. There's going to be a Baymax series on Disney Plus. From the creators of Big Hero 6. There's going to be a Zootopia series, which I actually think could be really good. I think a cop show in Zootopia, Monster of the Week kind of detective show. I think that'd be really fun. More series from the animation branch. We've got a Moana series due in 3 years. Why they announce it now? Sure, why not? And Tiana, which is a bigger surprise for me, the star of Princess and the Frog, she's going to get her own thing. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Are they going to turn her into like different animals every week? Why not? Okay, we are up to Pixar. Win or lose, Pixar's first long-form animated series debuts on Disney Plus in autumn 2023. No other information about what it is other than that's it. The weird one for me from the Pixar stuff was Lightyear, a Buzz Lightyear origin story voiced by Chris Evans, due to open theatrically, big news, on June in 2022. Now, to be clear, this is not... They tried to explain that, and it just made it more complicated. So this isn't the origin story of Buzz Lightyear, the character. It's the origin story of the man who inspired the toy inside the Toy Story universe, which is just, that's crazy.
It would be the movie that Andy saw that makes him want to have to Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, all right.
That's the best way to think about it. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, well, you know, Chris Evans is in it, and he's great. Okay, now, oh god, we just got to Marvel. Oh, there was so much stuff. Okay, right. Secret Invasion. Sam Jackson, Nick Fury confirmed. Ben Mendelsohn as one of the Skrulls. Great, cool. Ironheart. With Dominic Thorne as Genius inventor Riri Williams. Ironheart is going to be the continuation of the Iron Man franchise. Riri Williams is set to be like the person that inherits the suit and basically Stark Industries. So that big deal. Armor Wars, which is going to be Don Cheadle as War Machine, his stuff going around saving the world, all that stuff. We got another trailer for WandaVision. Looks weird. I'm here for it. We got a trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Both those men are incredibly attractive and make me feel inferior. And I'm here for it. We didn't get a trailer for Hawkeye. We've got the confirmation of Haley Steinfeld with a couple stills from production. Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop. So they are properly doing Kate Bishop, which is great because she's fantastic. We got a date for Ms. Marvel, debuting late 2021, not a fixed month. We got more information about Moon Knight. Mohamed Diab is going to be directing the show about that. Moon Knight's sort of like Marvel's Batman, is the easiest way to explain it for people who don't know about them. I've saved a couple things for last. She-Hulk. It was heavy rumors that Tatiana Maslany, it wasn't actually confirmed. I thought it was confirmed. It was confirmed yesterday. Tatiana Maslany, star of Orphan Black, one of the best actresses working on television, is going to be playing She-Hulk. Mark Ruffalo is also confirmed to be in the show. And out of nowhere, Tim Roth is coming back. Abomination himself. That was no one saw that coming. That like, I have a bunch
Finally
of
acknowledging him.
I know they're making the film canon. Great.
Heck yeah.
And for me, the trailer that stole the show for me was the Loki trailer. I think that thing looks awesome. Owen Wilson's in it, and he's not doing his own stuff. Yay!
That's unique.
I know, right? But I'm here for it. And he's playing a character called Mobius M. Mobius, and I love alliterative names.
Yeah. Or like the time. I forgot what they call them, like the time directive or something.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. James Gunn is going to be directing and writing the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special coming December next year. Very excited for that. James Gunn's a crazy person.
Why couldn't it have been this year? That would have made 2020 great.
Again, we are getting What If, which is fantastic. The What If had been confirmed. We got a little sizzle reel of the different things we're getting. They're doing Marvel Zombies, which is crazy. That's the craziest What If of them all, and I can't believe they're doing it. There's going to be a series of I Am Groot shorts. Sorry, Ivan, say that again.
I'm not even going to look at the list of things they're going to do. But Marvel Zombies is not the craziest thing in the multiverse. But yeah, good.
Oh, okay. It's the craziest of the ones that I've read.
Sure.
Got a big announcement of stuff for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum Mania, which is a fantastic name. Great name. I'm very here for it. All the regulars are going to be in the show. Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly. Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer. Newcomers, Catherine Newton, star of Freaky and Detective Pikachu, is going to be in as Cassie Lang. What's going to be happening to the person who played Cassie in Endgame? I imagine she'll be digitally changed. And they also announced that Kang the Conqueror is coming to the MCU, played by actor Jonathan Majors. I don't have his information to hand. We got some more. We got another date announcement for Black Widow. That's coming out May next year. Shang-Chi is going to be coming out July. Eternals opening November next year. The other big announcement was Fantastic Four. They're doing it.
Yay!
And it's going to be directed by John Watts, who was the director of Spider-Man: Far From Home and Homecoming.
I'll allow it.
So they are really putting their money behind this guy as like one of the big guys going forward. Whether he's going to be like the new Russos, who knows? But to be directing, this will be his fourth film in the MCU canon. There's not many people who've done four. Did we get any new announcements in Doctor Strange? No, we did not. We got a new date for that, March 5th, 2022. Thor, Love and Thunder. We finally got the confirmation that Christian Bale will be in the movie as villain Gore the God Butcher. Christian Bale's really funny, and I hope he's allowed to be really funny. Just please let him be funny. Don't let him be serious, Bale. Let him be funny, Bale. Did we get any new announcements? No, we did not. No other announcements. Captain Marvel 2, we knew that was happening. Date for that, 2022, November. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, scheduled for 2023. No season, no month, no nothing. They announced Black Panther 2. Did they announce it? They talked about it. They talked about Black Panther 2. The key thing they talked about is that they are not recasting T'Challa. They will be moving on. They will be finding a way, which is absolutely the right call for me. I don't know about you guys. They mentioned that Blade is a thing. Nothing else about it. Okay, we're so nearly done, guys. Disney Television Studios for Disney Plus. So the TV shows that they've announced. The working title: A Beauty and the Beast Show, starring Luke Evans and Josh Gad. Sure, why not? They are redoing Swiss Family Robinson. Again, sure. They seem to be doing a Percy Jackson series. Interested? They tried movies. They made 2 of them. People forget that they actually did make the second one. I'm not sure if that's actually going to work. I hope it does, because it's a great book series for young people. And the 4 shows that are currently in production, they're doing a Mighty Duck show, a Turner and Hooch, and something called Big Shot and the Mysterious Benedict Society. Okay, the rest of the stuff was all about National Geographic. Nothing really to mention about that other than they're making a documentary about Jacques Cousteau. That should be pretty good. I'm done.
So TLDR, Disney owns us.
So much stuff.
Thank you. That was amazing.
So much
that was
stuff
amazing.
in such a short amount of time. God damn it.
That was a truly ridiculous bombardment. Thank you for running through that. I think we can all agree there's lots to look forward to.
Yep. All right, so let's we're gonna blitz through the Game Awards because that's all it really deserves. Game Awards happened. Last of Us Part 2 won. That's pretty much it. It swept pretty much everything. So,
Yeah, at least for awards, that's basically all there is to say.
Awards wise, there really wasn't anything new. No major upsets or anything. Just kind of.
I will say having an accessibility innovation award is a good thing. I'm glad they added that.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
My moment of the night was watching Sean Murray just completely not expect anything.
Yeah.
then have to make a speech while drunk.
That was really weird. But anyway,
It's great.
Yeah, we're not going to really spend much time on the Game Awards because not much really happened. We did have a few little announcements. Sam, I think, what was the thing? To me, the only thing that really mattered to me was that Swedish Chef just added to Overcooked 2. All that matters.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. You want me to run through very quickly the notable
the
announcements?
notable things.
Sorry, what was that?
Yes, just the notable things.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry, you broke up a bit. Okay. So very quickly, the big stuff is that Sephiroth is coming to Smash. Yeah. Whether you care about Smash or not, this is actually kind of cool because Square Enix infamously has not played nice with Nintendo regarding Smash stuff. Like most of them get so many, alternate costumes and all the songs, and if you listen, Cloud does not have much music at all in any Smash game. So this is wild that they're actually sort of playing ball, and you're gonna have one winged angel in Smash. That's cool. That's a neat little thing. Turtle Rock Studios, better known as the creators of Left 4 Dead and the short-lived Evolve. Everyone remember that? They're going back to their roots. They are making Back 4 Blood, aka Left 4 Dead with the serial number filed off. That is literally what it is, down to the fact that you start in a safe house and gear up. 4 players. The zombie outbreak seems to be started by brainworms. It has crossplay. It's coming out June 22nd next year. You know what? I'll take it. That's fine. We haven't had Left 4 Dead 3. Cool. I'm totally down to get some zombie killing in that way. I'll drag the rest of you fools in there with me. Then even you, zombie hating Ivan, even you. And then beyond that, Returnal, the new game from Housemarque about a woman trapped in a time loop. Every time she dies, she wakes up on a mysterious planet. That's PS5 exclusive. That's coming on March 19. Housemarque has always done arcade games beforehand, so looks kind of interesting. The Initiative finally revealed their project. And it's Perfect Dark. It is a reboot, a blockbuster spy thriller set in a world where corporations are claiming to be solving everything, but are actually up to some shady stuff in the background. They mention it is first person, but they want to change the mobility. They want to change the gunplay up. They want to have incredible gadgets. And they don't want this to just be a standard shooter. They want to have some really interesting mechanical stuff. There's a lot of cool talent over there. So, yeah, I'm down for it. Perfect Dark is a very obscure IP, but a beloved obscure IP. It's almost a contradiction. It's kind of weird. So there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with that. I'm down.
I want to highlight quickly the fact that the announcement that Disco Elysium is coming to PlayStation fully voiced. Disco Elysium is a fantastic video game. It's one of the best written games that I played in a long, long time. I'm so happy it's coming to PlayStation.
Oh, and it's coming to all consoles. You were right the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. That was one of those confusing things, but it happens. Yeah, so there was some cool little announcements there. It wasn't like last year.
More.
Another one.
Yeah, there's one more. My personal second favorite if you'll let me really quickly, was Striking Distance Studios. It's a new team owned by Bluehole, aka I can't remember it's a South Korean holding company. It's on the tip of my tongue. Point is, they're family with PUBG Core. But here's the crazy part.
Yes.
Yeah, here's the crazy part. Glenn Schofield, co-creator of the Dead Space franchise, confirmed they're making a horror game. It's called the Callisto Protocol, and they want it to be the most horrifying, terrifying game on next-gen consoles. The teaser trailer is very brief, but it shows an abandoned prison on the icy moon of Callisto, one of the moons of Jupiter. Seems like there's a prison warden up to some shady nonsense, and infected alien human monster things that vomit acid on your face and will eat you. It has a Dead Space style health indicator where the health is, generated off of your neck, so it's not actually a true HUD. I'm there. This is the guy who made Dead Space. If he says we're making the most terrifying next-gen horror game possible, I'm there. Day one. I cannot wait for that. Now I'm done.
Hey, you didn't mention Mass Effect.
I didn't mention Mass Effect because there's nothing... Because there's nothing to mention. It was literally just a trailer. Look, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan, but it was literally a trailer version of what they said in the blog post. A new Mass Effect game is beginning development. I love Mass Effect. I love it, but I didn't mention it because, honestly, that's how easily it slipped my mind. There's just not much to talk about. But yes, James, you are right. We did see the official announcement of a new Mass Effect like they had said in the blog post.
And they announced Evil Dead as well, which honestly looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
All right, so
hold on. One sec. How are we going to talk about the Game Awards and not mention Diesel and Arc 2? Come on.
Oh, God. I was talking about the interesting ones. Okay. All right. Yeah. You want to chalk it up for most surreal moment of the night. Vin Diesel is playing a caveman / survivor fighting off Morlock-style creatures and dinosaurs in Arc 2. But from the press release, it gets even better. He's not just starring in the game. He is helping to develop the game. He is, and I quote, the executive producer on Arc 2, having logged over 1,000 hours in Arc Survival Evolved. I feel like I'm high.
Now, when does he get the car from Vin Diesel Wheelman?
I don't know. But all I know is every time you go to work there, he pats you on the back and says, when you're here, you're family.
And every other weekend is a
So, yeah, the Arc 2 exists, coming 2022, Xbox launch exclusive.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
I mean, I've also heard things that apparently Vin Diesel himself is exclusive to Xbox totally. It's just the Arc 2 is not completely exclusive forever. I don't know. I've heard weird shit about this for a long time.
What is with Vin Diesel and the Game Awards? This is the second year in a row where he's come on and they've been like, hey, it's Vin Diesel doing something weird.
In case you hadn't noticed, it's a little hard for him to do anything else.
I mean, at least this one was like embarrassing. At least that much.
No, it was the sheer surreal nature of it. It was just the, I cannot believe this is happening scale of this thing being announced. Once you get over the shock and all of it, like Ark is a very successful game and it sold millions upon millions of copies. It makes sense that if he's a fan of it, this is the kind of project he'd attach himself to. I get that. And I will also say very quickly, I appreciate how many studios were very blunt and didn't BS us. And they said, nope, come in 2022. The Callisto Protocol, come in 2022. Arc 2, come in 2022. Like, you know what? Thank you. I appreciate that. You're not trying to... Yeah, exactly. Realistic expectations. We'll see you next year with information, but don't expect the game. You know what? I respect that. You're allowed to announce early if you pull that.
But when does Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham announce their competitive game to Ark?
That we will have to wait and see.
Oh wait, do you guys not know about the fight choreography point system?
I unfortunately have heard of this. I don't know the details, but I know it's a thing.
Oh, you know what? We probably don't have time to go into it now. Have a fun half hour. Look up the reason why Vin Diesel can't be beaten on screen. It's wild.
All right, so last topic for the evening. Well, technically, second last topic. New topic. So as you guys know, Cyberpunk came out. We talked about it earlier on the show. It is a very weird thing because it's actually very, very buggy. So the point that I kind of want to get towards is that there's been a lot of stuff about this. Again, Sam, as our resident CD Projekt Red person, you'll have to answer for all of their failings.
Of course.
So all questions will be directed towards you, and we will need answers immediately. Why is it so buggy, Sam? Why is the game so buggy?
The game is so buggy because, just to be blunt, it shouldn't be out. That's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be out. The game should not have been released this year. They shouldn't have done this piecemeal delay thing where they're like, oh, we can't make September, we'll do November. Oh, we can't make November, we'll do December. Like, they shouldn't have done this. Instead, you know what they should have done? They should have said when they couldn't make September, they should have pushed it to April and said, you know what? We're going to continue to work on it. We hear the complaints about crunch, but we also got to get this game done. But also, there's a ton of bugs still. So, or tons of polish, phrase it PR friendly, whatever. We're going to give our developers time to recharge and go to their families over the holidays. And then we're going to come back and get this thing out for April. That's what they should have done. But they didn't. They didn't push it back. And I feel like, honestly, this is not me being a fellow Bethesda stan. This is just me being honest here. I feel like the way people have talked about Bethesda games in meme format in the past is actually what's going on with Cyberpunk. Does that make any sense, Ivan? Like, would you concur with that?
Totally agree. So,
like the way people meme on them for it just working, that's legit what's going on. It's wild.
So, like, the thing with, like, Fallout 76 is, like, the game, like that's the last big Bethesda release that happened where we had something like this occur. Yeah, it had problems, but it was the first time Bethesda Studios made an online game and, like, still kept, like, an RPG feel to everything. It didn't feel like an MMO. Like, that was a newish kind of thing, and it was a reason why they had problems. But yeah, they mostly had networking problems, issues. But the part that I'm just kind of, like, find so funny is, like, there's a lot of problems with Cyberpunk. I mean, I literally, during this, I had booted it up so I could just drive around during this, and my game crashed already. So I'm just like, and this is on next-gen hardware, too. So there's really no excuse for this right now, but here we are. It is really funny to watch this happen. Really the only reason behind it being funny is just because people did meme on it for so long. Like, I made a joke about it today saying, like, yeah, Fallout 76 had problems, but it wasn't this bad. And everyone, like, jumped down my throat naturally, because that's what... but it was not this bad on Fallout 76. It wasn't great, but it was.
Oh, okay, no. Okay.
There were PR problems. Yes.
No. At least the characters in Cyberpunk have animation. My first week of Fallout 76 was T-posing enemies that didn't even hold weapons. I don't even think it's comparable. Like, not even a little bit.
What do you mean? There's like, T-posing people. Like, I literally watched a T-posing enemy on the hood of a car, like, just today.
Dude, like, I'm sorry, Nick, but Jackie, in that quest I mentioned, he T-posed when he glitched out and refused to follow me out. It was a main quest. This wasn't a side quest either. Like, I'm actually with Ivan on this one.
It is not comparable to Fallout 76. I'm 30 hours into this game, and to compare it to Fallout 76 is literally ridiculous.
Did Fallout 76 crash your system?
Fallout 76 bricked my Xbox One X, and I fell through the earth on a recorded amount of time of 30 times in 8 hours of gameplay. Like, it was so bad, I actually declined to review it because it was unplayable. Like, it literally killed my Xbox on a regular basis. Like, I could not play Fallout 76. This one, when I booted up Cyberpunk, I had issues with it. I clearly cleaned everything off my SSD, and I've had no issues since my SSD has been empty. I'm not saying that's a solution, but I'm just saying, like, comparing it to Fallout 76 is kind of ridiculous because it's an even bigger scaled game than 76 was. I just don't think there's an apples to orange comparison for this. It doesn't work, obviously, but I think comparing it to Fallout 76 is a little extreme. Like, if you're saying on base hardware it runs like Fallout 76, I'd believe you. But, like, I'm playing the Series X version. I'm 30 hours in. To compare it to Fallout 76 or even Days Gone is ludicrous to me. Like, I had more issues with Days Gone than I've had with Cyberpunk.
Okay, so I will say this as well. This is not me spinning back or whatever. I will just say this. The problem with bugs is that they don't always happen. That's the issue. It's not a one-to-one. So that is going to make figuring out what is what and who, everyone's experience is going to be different. So I'll put that out there as well. Like, I believe you, Nick. I hear what you're saying. I'm just telling you the way my experience has been.
Well, I will preface it this way then. For me, well, actually, better question. What do you guys consider game breaking? Like, what is your definition of a broken game? Because the reason I asked this is because I had a really interesting DM conversation with somebody about what they defined as a broken game, and everyone's got a different definition of what they consider a broken game. That's not necessarily a ham-fisted argument. What's the line for you where you go, okay, enough, this is broken? What is your guys' personal line on where you're like, you know what, I'll wait for a patch, or you know what, I'm trading this in, I'm done, kind of deal?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, and I know we live in the age of patches where this can be fixed. We do. If there is a specific event that has a high chance, not a low chance, not a, 1 in a million, we can't believe this happened, that has a solid, decent, high chance of A, crashing your console, or B, glitching so you have to pray you've got an earlier save file that you have to then reload to fix it, and if you don't have a save file, you're screwed, and you've lost all your progress. If one of those two things happen, the game is broken. That is my personal definition.
So as soon as you start having save issues or anything, having a go back, replay, anything along.
Yeah, because I had to reload a save, and I lost 40 minutes of progress, 35, 40 minutes, whatever. But I was really lucky that I hadn't cleaned up my save files yet, and I hadn't deleted that autosave. If I had, I would have been screwed. I would have lost at that point, 6 hours of progress in the game, and I would have had to completely restart. To me, that is inexcusable.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. For me, it's a similar situation where it's, if I cannot play the game, like if my game crashes, that's considered unplayable. Like, it just completely shuts down, done. Now, if it's like an online game, like a network disconnect, that's different. Or like corrupted save file, I would say it's broken. It needs to be fixed. If it's something along those lines, I would say it's a broken game at that point. Now, if it's just like, if it's like to the point where like immersion breaking bugs, I mean, those are definitely a concern to me. But like, if it's like, I guess that's more about like how frequent they are than anything else. Like some pop in or something like that. Or like, oh no, my experience wasn't completely stellar. I don't care about that. But if it's like, hey, yeah, the textures just did not load in at all. I'm just walking around a muddy landscape. Like, yeah, I consider that broken then. Yeah.
Fair enough.
I have nothing to contribute.
Okay. All right. So so outside of that, we actually got their response today, which was very interesting. So CD Projekt Red actually had their response today. It basically boiled down to, hey, sorry, we're sorry. Ask for a refund. We'll be supporting refunds until the 21st, which is about 6 days from now. So it's like, I mean, okay. The part that made this interesting is basically everywhere has basically said, no, we're not giving you a refund for this game. And they basically just said, yeah, go ask your retailer. Don't ask us. It just, it came off as very tone deaf for people. And to give you an idea, like we're not just like beating on CD Projekt Red for no reason. I mean, there is a very good reason for why we're doing this. Their stock price dropped 30% in the last few days. Like it's a pretty big deal. This isn't just like a handful of people talking about it. They are feeling repercussions for this. It's not like we're just like beating up on them for no reason. I want to make sure that's there.
Yeah, we're just being honest.
Yeah. Sucks, but it's how it is. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap things up? Because you're here kind of late because we messed up.
Have fun. Be safe. 2020 is almost over.
Forgot the thing we want to talk about. So the last thing we wanted to do is this year's been very tough for people. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It's just been, for some people, living hell. We kind of want to talk about like things that we valued in this year, like certain pieces of media that helped us get through our time here. James, this is actually your idea as a topic, so please let us know what sort of media kind of helped you get through this very strange year.
Sure. Well, you all know that I'm a big theatre and movie musicals and that, and I've talked about on the show my adoration and obsession with the new TV show Zoe's Extraordinary playlist, which I'll, for those of you who don't remember, if you guys don't remember, it's an NBC show. It debuted in January of this year, so before all of this, and it is a musical in a brilliant way because the main character has sort of all of like a music streaming service implanted in her head, and now she can hear the innermost feelings of the people around her expressed through songs. So the example the show gives is in the first episode, gotta get the list up. In the first episode, a hot guy walks down the street and three women all turn and start singing "What a Man" by Salt and Pepper. Or, someone's crying in an office and they don't really know what to do with their life and they're singing Mad World. So it's that stuff. So it could have very easily been just a surface level, just goofy musical show. But out of nowhere, it just has this emotional core and that I just wasn't expecting, and every single week had me laughing in one scene and 3 seconds later crying in the other. And it all got to the point where, at the end of the season, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when Zoe's father will die. He has a condition called PSP. It's an incredibly severe version of cerebral palsy that means that he can't move, really. He can move like a mouse to communicate with the computer or something. And so it's getting there. You absolutely know that it's happening. But the moment that he dies is heartbreaking. As seen before, he is singing to Zoe and the audience. He's singing the lullaby "Good Night, My Angel" by Billy Joel with his son, and you just can't believe that this is happening in a network 45-minute comedy where 10 minutes ago somebody was singing a Pitbull song. And the final scene for me, the whole final episode is called Zoe's Extraordinary Father. And I've watched that episode about 6 or 7 times this year, if not more. The final scene I've watched countless times, where they do basically the entirety of American Pie at the wake for this man. And every single person that we've met in the series has one verse. And that verse of the lyrics perfectly encapsulates their character up to that point and where they're going. And another thing that's a bit more personal to me is that I've lost 2 grandparents this year. And I hope that no one else here has been unlucky enough to have gone to a funeral for a loved one. And what you realize is that although you had this incredibly close and personal relationship with this person, you don't really think about all the other people that they have and the lives that we touch and that we interact with. I had that when I went to Australia, and I met the women and men in my grandmother's retirement village, and they saw me at the wake, and they just came up, bounded with light in their eyes, and saying, "Oh, it's so great to meet you, Irene, and never stop talking about you and your sister." And it was just so amazing. And this show and this scene where the people are talking about the music dying with a perfect representation of the lives that we lead, I was just floored when I heard it. And
James, you there?
Pure and full of life. That did it for me. Nothing else. Zoe's Extraordinary playlist, the final episode, Zoe's Extraordinary Father, the final scene is, for me, the greatest musical scene in film or television history. And it's been the best thing I've seen all year, bar none. So there we go.
Very deep and personal, man.
Yeah, that was very good. Thank you.
For me, I found a podcast I've been listening to basically because I've been dating Dollface for like a year now, and we live like maybe 30-45 minutes away from each other, and so I have a lot of time just driving by myself, and so normally I just listen to music or I just listen to radio or something like that. But for whatever reason, over the time frame, I had decided I wanted to listen to a scary story podcast, or really just anything, because I like radio plays and that kind of thing. So I found a podcast called Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, and I've just been listening to that like every other time. It injected an extra level of enjoyment in just tiny little dumb things. It's really been great for me to be able to just do something different, because a lot of time, like, you're not like, so you listen to podcasts and stuff like during your time frame when driving or something, but it's something I've really enjoyed to do, and it's made long drives enjoy to the point where I want to go out and drive for a long period of time. And getting out of the house during COVID is almost essential. You gotta go anywhere in particular, just somewhere else, see something else, something different. God, that's kind of the main point. That's mine.
Nice.
Sam, Nick?
Nick, do you want to go, or?
You can go, Sam.
All right. Yeah, I won't take too long. I'll just say I like dark media. I like depressing media, honestly. Like, I like dark, gritty stuff and stuff that leaves you pondering the destruction of the human race, that sort of thing. Like, I enjoy it. But at the same time, I do enjoy, fun, lighthearted stuff, but I often find it's too child-flavored for me, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm not into a lot of Nintendo games. I'm not into a lot of silly stuff. Like, I'll play it if it's a co-op game or multiplayer or whatever, but I don't really get into it. But there is an exception, and that is the beautiful artistic game that is Ori. Ori, the first one, but also the sequel that came out this year, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, is perhaps the most beautiful game I've ever seen. It's a watercolor painting in motion. You could take a wallpaper at every single frame. Moon Studios did an incredible job. The animations and the combat are great, but it's a story about light. That's literally what it is. It is light overcoming darkness, and it is beautiful. It leaves you sobbing with a story that never uses any dialogue. Just a handful, just a tiny bit of written narration on screen. Barely any, and never any dialogue. And it tears you apart, but then it puts you back together again. And in a dreary, depressing year like 2020, that game helped me get through some real tough personal times. Some real tough personal moments. And I want to go back to it. It's life. The game is light and life. And it has been something beautiful for me.
Yeah, so mine's a little bit of a weird one. This year's been a little weird for me for reasons I can't really explain or would want to put into words, and don't really have the time to put it all into something that would be, I don't know, explainable and make sense. But I found a show on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel,
Oh, yeah.
and it's done by the guy who created Adventure Time. And I really went into it thinking it was just going to be some dumb comedy, and I just really wasn't in a good place when I watched it. And it's a bunch of philosophical, it's almost done like a podcast, but it's an animated show, and it's really done through like different frames of references. It can be really confusing at some points, but depending where your mind's at, sometimes it can make things make a lot more sense. And just where I was through a lot of this year and still am in this year, it was comforting to think on a level just outside of just straight up emotions, but to tear apart how people function, how different people function, and how not everyone functions like ourselves. And yeah, no, it's just a really weird experience. It was a really unique show, and I highly recommend people give it a try. It's really bizarre. They're short episodes, but they're really interesting. It can be really intense sometimes, depending on where you are in your life. But I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't consume a lot of that type of media. I'm more a games guy, but I definitely recommend this, especially even if you're not a big TV or podcast or consume that kind of media a lot. Give it a shot.
Right. So, been a good season finale. So, all things considered, and technical problems and all that junk. Thank you guys for watching our show in 2020. I know it's been a very weird year. Some good stuff, some bad stuff, and just trying to figure out our way in the multiverse. So, but we're gonna do our outros and we're gonna get on our way. We'll see you guys in 2021. But Sam Tolbert, where can the good people find you, sir?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's Tolbert. Come yell at me. Come hang out with me. It's a lot of fun. And you can find everything I'm writing over on Windows Central, Android Central, and iMore.
All right. And Nick, where can the good people find you, sir?
You can find me over at lordsgaming.net. You can on Twitter at undead3xvi, and maybe some new stuff in 2021. Who knows? Next year might be crazy.
And James, I know it's late for you. Where can the people find you, sir?
The people can find me in bed. That's what they can find me. You can also find me on Twitter at James_S Wilson. I will be available to talk about professional wrestling, musicals, horror, normal teenage stuff.
All right. And Sam.
Yep, you did.
Oh, sorry. All right, I guess we're done then. All right, and Anchorman V2, Ivan, you can find me on Twitter at Anchorman V2. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know for the rest of the year, I'm gonna play a little D&D, doing some stuff. I'm also gonna be streaming with Dollface FX on Twitch, so you're more than welcome to check us out on there. But thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a good show. It's been a good year overall for us. So. Also, send prayers and good vibes to Mike P. to Truth. He was diagnosed with COVID as of today, so please give him some love. He really needs it.
And wear a mask.
Yeah, wear a mask. Please be careful and don't do anything dumb. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and this has been the Multiverse Show, the greatest show on Mondays. We're out of here. All right, we're clear.